Danielle Ibsen. I am doing my presentation on CSS Specificity and Redundancy. The first thing to note is that if there are two or more CSS rules that point to the same element, the selector with the highest specificity value will win and its style declaration will be applied to the HTML element. So let's take a closer look at specificity hierarchy. So number one, inline styles, they are represented as 1000. They are always given the highest priority. Okay. Second is RIDs, RID values, right? Those are represented as 100, and those are elements targeted by an ID selector. They have a higher specificity than attribute selectors. And then third is our classes attribute, or classes and attributes, sorry about that. And those are represented as 10. And so those are selectors using class names or attributes carrying moderate specificity. Fourth is our element types, and those are represented as 1. So those are selected elements, selecting elements by their types, which is like a div or a p tag, and those hold the lowest specificity. So how do you calculate specificity? W3 Schools tells us that we simply just need to start at 0. So for each ID value, we add 100. For each class value or pseudo class or attribute selector, we add 10. For each element selector or pseudo element, we add 1. For each inline style, we add 1000. Again, just as a reminder, inline style is always given the highest priority. You can use the important rule, and that will override inline styles. And I will show you an example of this. So let's come over to my little example. In my HTML, we have random paintings that I have chosen, and each of them have a class called painting, and then they have an ID that gives us a little bit more of specific information. So it tells us about what those paintings are. So we'll start with our CSS here. We'll start with our ID value to show you what that's going to look like. So we'll choose to go with starry, and we'll put our background color. And I apologize for my errors here because I get going and whoops, see, there's my little error there again. So this is going to be with the value of 100, right? And then we will, whoops, I'm entering it in the wrong place. Let me move down here, sorry. Okay, and then we'll do our ID and class values just to show you what that's going to look like. Background. Oh goodness, I'm blind, that's what it is. Okay, and this one is going to be 100 plus 10 because we did our ID and class. And then we'll do our element selector, our class and ID values together. So we'll do our div and our ID and our class. this will be, we'll just do that. There we go. This will be 100 plus 10 plus 1 to make our 111. Okay, and what I also want to show you is to use the important rule. We're going to come in here. I'm actually going to change this color because it'll make it easier to see. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do important, and that'll change it. So that makes it so this one has the higher specificity. It overrules everything else. And so that's what I wanted to show you with those. Okay, so coming back to our slideshow here, we're going to start talking about redundancy. So what is redundancy? Redundancy is when code is unnecessary or is repeated within a program. So what we want to check for is if any unused code, or if we have CSS rules that we aren't using, then we need to get rid of it, right? So we want to keep our code neat and simple because that makes it easier to read and also to edit later. We also want to check for any duplicate code. So it is best practice to avoid using the same or similar code for multiple CSS elements. So to reduce redundancy, one can have more functionality can move functionality to one location and access it through calling methods. So here is our example of our redundancy. Okay, so in my CSS here, we'll just take a look at this. I have the background color, the border, the padding, the width, the text align, and I have it in all of these, right? And they're all calling different colors. So we don't need that because that's redundant. So we are going to show you how to fix it. So we're going to get rid of everything but the background color, right? And I know it looks like a mess now. Don't freak out. It'll be okay. Oh, I went a little far. Okay. Oh, my sweet sassafras. I swear I know how to run this thing. We're going to bring this all up here, and with starry, we're going to keep it all right here. So instead of calling starry here, we're going to just do painting. So that's going to call all the class, and it will make everything, but I have to spell it right. That would make it work. And then I'll make everything go how it should, and all of the code is just in one place, and we're calling it there. So this ties up my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know. And thank you.